Hi all. Sorry can't be with you today, but we looked at ratio in yesterday's lesson. I'm gonna go through some today now again, and then I'm gonna let you have a go at the worksheet that I've provided. So yesterday we looked at ratios, and you've seen this slide on the board, and we discussed what it actually meant, and so one of you told me that it meant one part to four parts. And that is what ratio is about. It's always about how we look at something and breaking it down into its number of parts. All right, so we started yesterday and we looked at equivalent ratios. Today we're going to look at making sure we simplify ratios. So when I see something like this, 25 to 35, I want to write it in its simplest form. So what we're looking at is, can we spot the highest common factor of 25 and 35? And I'm sure that you're all shouting out that it is 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we divide the 25 by 5 and divide the 35 by 5. And when I rewrite that, 25 divided by 5 is 5. And 35 divided by 5 is 7. So we could rewrite that as 5 to 7. All right, so that is 25 to 35 written in its simplest form. All right, so remember, simplest form, we're probably going to try and use whole numbers all the time. We don't go down into decimals. With ratios, we tend to stay with whole numbers. There are other times that we do use decimals. We might see some of those now towards the end. But remember, mostly it's going to be whole numbers. Now, with this one here, I've got 18 to 45. You've got to be able to spot the highest common factor of 18 and 45. Well, the highest common factor is 9, so we are going to divide both of those by 9. And when I divide both of those by 9, I know I get 2 to 5. All right, so there's a lot of multiplication and division in this. Like I said yesterday, we are looking for, when things go up, we are looking to multiply the numbers, not add or take away. It's always about multiplying. All right. So when I look at this one, highest common factor of 325. So the highest common factor of 325 is 25. So I would be dividing both sides by 25. So if I divide that one by 25, I get a 1. And if I divide my left-hand side by 25, I get 12. So the answer is 12 to 1. All right. So always remember, you are always looking for the highest common factor. It is possible to do it in other ways, but the highest common factor, it is usually it will take you straight to the answer. So it'll be the best way to do it, the most efficient way to do it. To use 18 to 45 as another example, 18 to 45, I could have done it another way. I could have divided by 3 and divided by 3. And if I did that, I get 6 to 15. However, these numbers will divide by 3 again. So it could have been done by dividing by 3 and dividing by 3. And when I divide it by 3 again, I get 2 to 5, sorry. So these two answers are the same, but they were more than one way to get there. Highest common factor is the most efficient way, and that would be the way that I would be looking to do it every time. However, it is possible to do it in multiple steps. All right. Now, once you these type of questions, we look at units. Now, in the first one that you can see here, it says simplify 4 days to 10 days. So we have these in the same unit, so we don't even need to worry about the word days in this, because they are both in the same units. So I'm looking at simplifying 4 to 10. And when I look at that, what does 4 divide by? What's the highest common factor of 4 and 10? Well, the highest common factor of 4 and 10 is 2. So I divide both sides by 2. And the answer comes out as 2 to 5. Now, the second example here, I've got 1 year to 3 months. Now, not easy to work with there because it's in totally different units. So I need to make sure that I convert everything in to the same units. So when I look at this question, I am looking at converting 1 year to be 12 months. And I'm going to stick with the 3 months on the other because I'm trying to get them so they are both in the same units. Once they're both in the same units, I don't even need to worry about the units. I'm just looking at the numbers. So I've got 12 to 3. What's the highest common factor of 12 and 3? Well, I hope you've spotted. It is 3. So I would be dividing by 3 and dividing by 3. When I divide that by 3, I get 4. If I divide that one by 3, I get 1. So make sure when you see questions with units, the key is to make sure that you have the same units in each part of the ratio. And then you can actually start working with it. And last one. Now, these ones are slightly different. Where I told you about not being able to get deal with decimals, this is the exception. This is where we would be using decimals with ratios. And when I want to get it in the form of n to 1 or 1 to n. So it says n to 1 up here and 1 to n in this one. All it means is that the n just means a number. So I'm going to have a number, and one of my parts of my ratio is going to be 1, and 1, and my other part of my ratio is going to be a number. So every time I'm starting, I want to get in this one, I want to get this one to be the one part of the ratio, and this one to be one part of the ratio. Well, all I need to do is, I'm looking at this, it's going to be n to 1. So I'm looking at my ratio there, and I've got something to 1. So what am I doing to get from, come here, 2.5 to 1? What have I divided 2.5 by to get to 1? Well, the answer is I've divided it by itself. So I've divided it by 2.5. Now, if I divided the one side by 2.5, I make sure I divide my other side by 2.5. And that gives me 3 to 1. So when we talk about the ratio of n to 1, the one number, this has to be a number, and this has to be always 1. So when I'm doing my second question, it's the other way around. I'm doing 1 to n. So I need one of them to be the 1 and the other to be a number. So I am looking at this one, and I want to get it 12 to go to be a 1. What am I dividing 12 by to get it to be 1? Well, I need to divide it by itself. Now, if I divide 12 by itself, I need to divide 30 by the same number. So I'm dividing 30 by 12. So I'm going to have 1 to something. Now, if you probably need your calculators at this point, so you're going to type it into your calculator, 30 divided by 12, and you come out with 2.5. And this is the time where your ratios can be decimals. And often, if you see these in exam questions, they often are decimals. So the questions you've seen here have come straight from a GCSE exam paper. All right, so when you look at these, make sure you write it in the ratio of 1 and the number that you're going to work out in the question. So going back, whoops, come back, how do I do this? Come on. Oh, no, keep. There we go. So go back, there we are. So remember, simplifying the ratios, always thinking about the highest common factor, and that'll be your first couple of questions. Next couple of questions, we'll be looking at the units. Make sure that you have the same units in each part of the ratio. And then the final part is going to be getting it in the ratio of n to 1 or 1 to n. So you have to make sure one part of your ratio is starting or finishing with a 1. Look at the question, it will tell you in the question. But this time, it might be that you have decimals involved. All right, do your best. Have a look at the worksheet, and I'll see you soon. All right, thanks. Bye.